This is another transfer talk video. Welcome back to the Squirrelhead YouTube channel. Hopefully you've enjoyed a couple of the others. I think it literally is only a couple of others. We're getting a lot of views. It's actually been surprising me. So thank you for checking it out, leaving comments and stuff like that in the videos. I do appreciate those so much, and engaging with you guys as well, writing down, typing comments and stuff like that. I love that sort of stuff. I encourage you to get more comments in there as well. Get your thoughts in there, whether you agree, disagree, or you're in between. Don't mind. Get them in there. We can always have a discussion. Love it. Now, I've got a couple of things that I want to cover today. So, I was at work today. I work in a place that doesn't have a great deal of signal. So, pretty much when, I've worked the whole shift, I leave there, get on the bus to go home, and I get, halfway home, and all these notifications all come through from throughout the day. And I think I've got to start with... I have to start with this one, right? And there are going to be a couple that I'm going to come to. Now, according to, and as it says here, according to the Daily Mail, which, as reputable as sources go, it's not up there. It's not up there as a reputable source. But apparently Liverpool have joined the race to try and sign Kylian Mbappe, or Mbappe. I don't actually know how you say his second name, but I know his first name is Kylian, I think. I'm not sure. Someone will probably correct me. I've probably butchered his name completely. The 18-year-old sensation from Monaco, who ripped apart League One last season and was very good in the Champions League for those guys. He was ridiculous, and he's only 18 years old. Now, the problem I've got is if Liverpool have put in a bid for Mbappe, I'm just going to stick with Mbappe in case I've got his name wrong. I'm just going to stick with that because I've got no one to correct me right now. If we have tabled a bid for 100 million for Kylian Mbappe, which I don't believe we will, that's just my personal thought, I don't believe we will. I don't think Liverpool are capable of doing that, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Well, pretty much right now. If we drop 100 million plus on a transfer like this, when you've got teams like Real Madrid who have reportedly tried to bid 135. Now, if we try and beat those guys in terms of money, we can't. So the reported outlay for Liverpool this season, for this transfer window, is 150 million to 200 million max. So then if you go and drop 135 million on one player, an 18-year-old who's done it for one season, and I'm not criticising the lad, he's an unbelievable little player that he's had a very good season so far. And I'm not saying that he's not going to go ahead and do that again and again, because he looked electric no matter who he came up against. He looked very good. And for an 18-year-old lad to have the impact that he did, unbelievable. Liverpool aren't in a position where they can have like Man City, where I think they've signed 4 players at a total of maybe 120 million so far. They've got 300 million in total. He's got 180 million left to spend. Liverpool instead are going to be having to look at different targets. I think this is I do believe that this is a complete non-starter. Now, apparently, according to the Daily Mail, no quotes that I've seen, is that Klopp is said to have held talks with his representatives. Now, I think if I'm going to look at this in a completely, in an open mind, let's say, the only thing that I could think of that would go in our favour in any way is he'd probably get in the first team somewhere. Because to have a forward like that, it would be unbelievable. The problem that you've got then is, okay, you're going to put him near the first team. Who do you take out? Well, you can't take out Sadio Mane. You can't take out Coutinho. What's happening with the Mohamed Salah deal? Going to come on to that one as well in a little bit. Who's going up front? Solanke. You've got Origi. You've got Sturridge. Is Sturridge going to be sticking around? You've got Firmino. To bring in someone for that type of money, you're going to be wanting to say you are going to be in every single week. You're going to be playing every single game possible. I'm not sure. You've got other teams in there that apparently are in for him, like Manchester United and stuff like that as well. I'm not sure about Man City because they're pretty fully loaded, but they are literally fully loaded. They've got so much money that they could bring him in. Maybe, the thing for Man City could be, are they going to be looking to bring in someone to eventually replace Aguero, because Aguero's not the youngest player of all time. He's a fantastic player, though. He still is a fantastic player. But eventually, with Gabriel Jesus, I think it looks like Iheanacho's on his way out of Man City as well. Could be on his way to West Ham. I don't know. But I think in terms of Liverpool, I am going to put this one down to a non-starter. If it does end up happening, how is that going to impact on the rest of our transfers? Because we don't have a great deal of money. I know saying 150 million, 200 million transfer budget doesn't. It sounds like a hell of a lot of money, but in terms of the actual rate that players go for these days, and another one that we're going to come on to in a minute, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, the prices that some of these players are going for, that really, they're not the best players in the world, yet they cost an absolute fortune. I don't know. What do you guys think of this one for Liverpool in terms? I think it's a complete non-starter. I don't think that Liverpool have put in a bid for Mbappe, and I don't think that they will. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. Why not test the waters? But that's a hell of a lot of money. I don't know. Not for me, but I think we've got other priorities in different areas of the team. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Which now brings me on to Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Now, the other rumour is that we're willing to spend 40 million on Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Now, Oxlade-Chamberlain has a very good, I want to say rapport, I think. Maybe a good connection with Arsenal fans. Because if you see any of Arsenal fans' tweets and stuff like that, or the world famous Arsenal fan TV, if you watch any of those things, any of those videos, you see any of the tweets, articles and stuff like that, they do big up Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain playing through the middle. The problem that I've got with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is that, yes, he's got pace and he can play well through the middle, but he has injury problems like Theo Walcott, and that is not something that you want to be carrying into your team. And to drop 40 million on someone like if you put it into perspective, you put 40 million into Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who, in my opinion, hasn't really developed a great deal in the last couple of years since he's been at Arsenal. He's one of those players that it always looks like he's on the cusp of doing something, like becoming a better player, and then he'll either get injured or he gets dropped out of the team and this, that, or he gets played out of position. What is his position? Because he's always kind of listed as like a right midfielder, right winger, never gets in there because when Walcott's fit, he was playing there, and if you have a change of system, he doesn't really make it in there. They've got Mesut Ozil in there as well, Granit Xhaka, Ramsey. Yeah, where do you put him? Is he going to be looking for somewhere else to play? I don't entirely know, but I think 40 million, I say if you drop that price down to 25 million, I'd be a bit more like, okay, maybe, bring him on board. But for 40 million, not for me. No way. No, not a chance. Just because I just don't think. I don't know. I just don't. I think 40 million is just a little bit too much. Now, I know that's rich saying that we were going to go for Van Dijk for 60 million, but that is an area of the pitch that we desperately need to actually reinforce. So, I think, drop money on the defensive side on people that are actually better than our current defenders. That's the thing, though, because with Oxlade-Chamberlain, you play him through the middle. Where are you going to put him? You got Henderson, he's pretty much the same. He's perpetually injured, but sometimes plays through it. But then you've got Wijnaldum, you've got Emre Can, you've got Lallana. You've got a lot of different players in there that have played very well for us that can go into there. You've still got Coutinho that can drop in there as well. I don't know. I think we're okay in that department. If you bring him in for some squad depth, great. Not for that price, though. There were murmurings about this transfer, or about this possible transfer, a couple of weeks ago, and I kind of ignored it a little bit. Now, Bayern Munich have recently just signed ex-Arsenal player Serge Gnabry. I think that's how you say his name. Not the best with some names, but when you put a G in front of an N, what am I meant to do? Anyway, Douglas Costa is apparently going to be looking to leave Bayern Munich due to game time. And apparently having Gnabry at Bayern Munich, apparently that could actually edge Douglas Costa out of the team. And I'm thinking, well, okay, if Liverpool are going to go in for it, all right, okay. But I don't know what the fee would be. Now, I'm just going to have a little quick read through, see if there's anything on here, I'm not entirely sure. There's nothing in here in terms of actual bids or actual money or anything like that. Now, I think Douglas Costa's a talented player, but if we end up going and I'll come on to the Mohamed Salah one in a little bit. I'm not trying to give away too much until I get there. But if we bring that deal in, I don't necessarily think there's going to be a place for Douglas Costa. Now, if we were to bring him in and Mohamed Salah, no problem. I have absolutely no problem with that. He's an exceptionally talented player who I think is, could end up. I think Serge Gnabry could end up the same way. It could end up being wasted, just sat on the bench, because Bayern still have so many talented players. You've still got Robben and Ribéry, so actually breaking into that team and taking over their roles has actually been difficult for Douglas Costa. It's different for us. Whereas I think in that position, or in those positions, you've only got Coutinho and you've got Sadio Mane. Now, the advantage that you'd have if you bring someone in like Douglas Costa, you've got someone who's got very good trickery, he's got good quick feet, he's got good vision generally. When he plays, you give him the chance to play, you never know what could happen. We've got a lot of Brazilians at the club anyway. Firmino, Coutinho, not Lallana, Lucas, I meant to say. If Lucas is going to be sticking around, nothing on that just yet, but I don't know. I think it could be a positive one. I'm not entirely sure. I'll be absolutely straight up honest with you. I've not seen a great deal of him actually play. So, I mean, maybe some of you guys might have actually seen him play a lot more, definitely a lot more than I have, just purely down to time. When I have seen of him, I think, yeah, it's okay. He's got potential. He's got good potential, but he's 26 years old. So, I mean, would he come into this team and hit the ground running? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not saying that, we have to just go and get people with potential. I think having someone like this could come in useful for Liverpool. But how vital is it that we go and pursue someone like this? And how likely do you think it is to get someone like this from Bayern, who may be earmarking someone like this? I know Ribéry and Robben, I think, are in their 30s. Robben's a little bit older, I think. Are they going to be then waiting for Robben and Ribéry to be like, okay, you're definitely going off the boil, we're going to bring you in? Is he willing to wait, though? Is he going to be looking for a transfer? There's a lot of ifs and buts, as there is with any transfer rumour, but I think he's a good player. I think he could be a great player. Not entirely sure that Liverpool would go in for him if we bring in Mohamed Salah. And on to that man, Mohamed Salah. Now, apparently Liverpool today have tabled another bid of £35 million. It says 40 million euros here, with 5 million in add-ons. Okay, it's pretty similar to what we did with Sadio Mane. Now, again, it's rumours. I'm not entirely sure. I think there was something from Sky Sports, so it makes it a little bit more reputable. But even so, I'm one of those. I'm never going to believe a deal until it's actually on the table, until it's actually done. He's sat there, he's signing a contract. He's a player that I'd be excited about coming to Liverpool. I really, really would be. Because then you take a lot of the pressure off Sadio Mane. And to be fair to Mane, he dealt with that pressure very, very well. But Salah, come in, and if he can recreate what he did in Serie A or Calcio A, whatever it was called this year, if he can come in and do that, it'd be unreal and it'd be absolutely fantastic. It also then means that you can bring Coutinho back into that midfield and you can get him playing exactly how he was now in the last couple of games of the season. Now, Coutinho played great throughout the season, generally. Had some off moments here or there where he went off the boil, but when you put him in that midfield, you just see his vision open up. He's not just working from that left-hand side. He can see the whole scope of the pitch, and it was great. And you have someone like that. You have Mane on the other side as well. Whoever's going to be up front for us, I've got no qualms about paying that type of money for someone like that. He's proven it. He can get a good amount of goals, a good amount of assists. I'd be happy for that to come through. The only thing that is worrying me a little bit is that we seem to be taking our time actually getting this done. That is the only thing. But if we can get the transfer done, look, I'd be more than happy, and I'm well happy to have this one over the line when it happens. What do you guys think? In the comments below. And the last one that I want to come on to is Solanke. Now, I've been saying his name completely wrong for a long time. I've been saying Solanke, but it's not. It's Dominic Solanke. Now, it's not a rumour. Obviously, we've signed him. It's fantastic, and I think it's a great one in terms of, he's only 19 years old. They've just won the Under-20s World Cup, and he played a big part in that. He played a massive part in that. He was named Player of the Tournament, which has only been, He's now. If we go down in this article here, he's being put next to people like Maradona, Messi, Paul Pogba, all this lot who've won the Golden Ball and all this, and that's great. That really is great. But now he's got to come in and try and do it with Liverpool. Now he's 19 years old, so he's not actually that far behind Origi in terms of age. Does look like a bit of a better prospect than Origi though, and he looks like a great finisher. He's got good feet. His close control could do with a little bit of work, but he looks like a really, really good prospect. And what you hear about Chelsea fans, what they've said about him now, quotes from Chelsea fans include things like, "Gutted to have lost him. He's the closest thing that we could have had to another Harry Kane." Now that speaks volumes to me, because I think Harry Kane is one of the up and coming. I think he's going to be the one that goes closest to breaking Alan Shearer's record in the Premier League if he stays in the Premier League, which I think he will. To have someone like that in your team that young, and hopefully we can give him a shot, I think it'd be absolutely fantastic. The other one is that people are saying he's like Teddy Sheringham, but quicker. Now Teddy Sheringham was a good finisher on his day, and that's what we need. Finishers are what we need. Too many times during this last season, Origi wasn't doing it, and there were some times when it just looked like his confidence went. Now Solanke just looks like one of those players, like that whole team did, the under-20s did in that World Cup, that looks like he plays with no fear. He will just go for it. Now there's one other player in the Premier League at the moment I can think of that plays with no fear and doesn't really necessarily get the shot he deserves, and that's Rashford. Rashford's a young guy. Whenever he comes on, or if he's starting, he just bolts forward tries to get through the defence, and he's an absolute danger player. Solanke has got the potential to do something similar. He can make a big impact. He's going to be around experienced players, experienced strikers, different strikers. When you look at likes of Sturridge, Origi and Firmino, he's going to have different people there. Depending on what happens in the transfer window with like Salah, where we can actually play some of our players, like Coutinho, all that lot, he's going to have great service, or he has the potential to have great service, and the likes of Lallana as well, Mane. He's going to have brilliant people, pacey people, up and down the wings. I think it looks positive. When it was announced, obviously, we announced the signing of Solanke in between about 3 of Man City's big signings, and people were kicking off saying, "Oh, well, Man City are buying like all these 3 players that are like well good and all this lot, and we're buying this under-19, under-20s guy." Look, we can't operate in the same way that Man City do. We can't just, as I said earlier in the video, we can't just splash money all over the place. I think that this is a good acquisition because I think he's got a good record. He's done so well in the England under-20s World Cup campaign. The fact that they won it, yes, he didn't score in the final. That was Calvert-Lewin. But all throughout the rest of the tournament, that man was an absolute brilliant player. And I'm not just saying that because he signed for Liverpool. Even if he was signing still at Chelsea, he was an absolutely fantastic forward. He really was. And I think it could be one of those. It could be a gem. It could go tits up, just like anything could. But it could be another gem that Liverpool have. I'm not expecting him to be in the starting 11 week in, week out, but I think eventually he could start to break in here and there, especially in some of the cup competitions, Capital One Cup or whatever it's going to be called, FA Cup, everything like that. I think it could, work out in our favour, take a bit of the load off the likes of Origi and stuff like that when, we were relying on him so much and it wasn't happening for him. Thankfully, we had some backup in some other areas, like when we had Mane, and we obviously had Coutinho on form, Firmino as well. I don't know. I'm positive about it because I think there's only really one way you can be. You have to be positive about it. This is what's happened. He's coming to the team. He's just come off the back of winning the England Under-20s World Cup. Whatever you think of that competition, it's the first final that England have won in 51 years. First one they've ever been to. Never mind won one in 51 years. That is no mean feat. And that's the whole team as well. That goalkeeper, I can't remember his name, Woodman or something, from Newcastle. Unbelievable. Brilliant. What a penalty save that was as well. absolutely, it was a brilliant final, very tense, and to a man, they all played very well, but I was very impressed with Solanke, because obviously I was looking out for him. He's just our new signing. That's all we've got to show for us so far, but it's impressive in terms of, you know, Jurgen Klopp looking for youth, and he was apparently very impressed by, you know, the opportunity to work with Klopp, someone who elevates youth into bigger prospects and better players. So anyway, that's all I've got for today. Let me know any of your thoughts, comments in the boxes below. What am I saying? I don't even know. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Have there been any rumours that I've missed? Let me know as well, and I can look at them and I can cover them in another video this week. One thing I am going to talk about in another video is the comparison between the young England players and the England senior teams, which both played over the weekend. One was great, one was pretty good, one was abysmal. Okay, so that's pretty much going to be, you know, that's going to be the starting point of that one. So if you've got any thoughts about the England setup, both senior and the youth ones, let me know and I'll try and get them into the video for next time. But if you've enjoyed the video, please drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you ever so much for watching, as always, and I'll catch you later.